Great. Then we're doing this. Then we're going in here. All right. Whew. We got the mic. What is going on, people? I haven't done this in a while. Hope all of you are well. I am unshaven. I will be taking a shave with one of my shaving soaps in a minute. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about I don't know, just a few little things. I had this sometimes you read you just had these weird memories, and it's like, oh shit, I've never told this story, and it's actually a really good one. So I had one of these flashbulb moments, not flashbulb moments, but these the sudden memory earlier today, and I thought it'd be interesting to share with everybody. The next three and we're gonna add to the title, hold on, and Lauren Chen. Let's see if the changes are being saved. Okay, I'm just gonna give it a second till we get 100 people in here. Talk about Canada. It was so fun being in Montreal for the birthday. It was the best. It was absolutely the best. Just giving people one more second. You know, it's funny, you'll leave the house. Well, I'll leave the house, okay, we got 100 people. I went to record a podcast with Zach Amico, who's the co-host of Real Ass Podcast with Louis J. Gomez. And we watched Gavin McIngus. Any news on signed copies of the new right? No. Great job with Lauren Chen. Thank you. I really enjoyed it. She's great. I didn't get to play with her dog, so I was kind of pissed about that because I am a animal freak. She has a Leonberger, which are pretty rare. They're the biggest breed by some measures, or maybe heaviest, and I couldn't play with the dog, so the dog wasn't there, so I was kind of annoyed. On the other hand, I did go to the Naked and Famous factory. I got the head-to-toe tour. I got a pair of sick pants for my birthday from the Naked and Famous guys. I said to Bezad, I said, all right, I need a pair that's really unique and weird. I'm here. I represent you guys pretty hard. And he came back with this amazing pair the next day. They did a collab with Hoyt Renfrew. I think it was in 2010. And they were 40% cashmere denim. So they don't look particularly crazy, but it's just really cool to have. I'm getting them altered right now. I'll get them back tomorrow. So that was awesome. Plus, my friend, they had these girl jeans, which were very 60s rainbow colored, just strips, different colors, very narrow strips. And they fit her like a glove. And I was like, these look sick. And they thought they were too weird to produce. I'm like, no, these are easy to pull off. It's kind of like the Uncanny Valley. If something is slightly weird, it's hard to pull off. But if something is this is a look, and you build your look around it, then it's a lot easier to pull off. Montreal is great. I every time I go to Canada, I have the best time. I thought that when I was there a few years ago, the border crossing was a nightmare, and this time it was not. So I don't know what had changed, but it was pretty easy going in and out. And now they've replaced the goons, the border goons, with kiosks, which I, of course, could not be more delighted with. Just these people. Anyway, okay, so Lauren, she lives. I'm not going to dox her or anything, but she lives kind of far out of Montreal proper. I I don't know if you guys watched it. The Blaze has been blasting it on Twitter all day. I don't know if they do that with all their interviews. I thought, she's very pretty, um, young. So whenever I see someone like that who like works for like conservatism, I'm always like, all right, she is so smart, and she is so red pilled, and I didn't realize to what extent people had come for her. And when you are, thank you, NT, when you are the target of the cathedral, and their goons, you wake up pretty quick. So I was really impressed with her. Rachel Carter, listening to you got me through my divorce back in May. Now you're helping me while I paint my new apartment. Don't know if you realize how much you are appreciated. Thank you for the great streams. A divorcee and someone who does manual labor? Why? This is not my kind of audience. You're bad luck. No, thank you so much. That's very sweet. I do. I made this point on Jason Stapleton. It does get to me on a fundamental level that I'm sitting here running my gums, flapping my stupid gums, and it helps people with their lives. And if it does, it's very flattering. It really is. And that's the most sincere kind of flattery. It's just like we've all been through the Bridget Fetisi episode. This is not a tangent. This Tuesday we talk about this, Rachel. We talk about it a lot. Helping people get through tough times. Bridget is really, really high in terms of EQ. She's had a lot of struggles in her life, and she's got a lot of tools to deal with those. So she and I really get into it about dealing with dark times and things like that. And we also crack each other up, and there's rape jokes. So it was a lot of... That episode this Tuesday is great. We got that one in the can. Then we got Charlie Nash next Tuesday. And then the president of Liberland in 3 weeks. Those are all in the can. Just like Prince Albert. So those are really good episodes. Anyway, so Lauren... so whenever I see someone who's like really pretty, young, conservative, I'm always like, all right, it's going to be like, well, if you just tell the Democrats that they're on a plantation, then we're going to have a Republican majority and then America's saved. And she was not that at all. Very impressed. Smart kid. I can see why she's so successful. She wasn't at all taken aback by any of my bullshit. So it was just really awesome and impressed by her. Yeah, so that was that. Then I got to hang out with, and the other thing is now thanks to you guys, and specifically Greg, for paying for this trip, now I'm red pilling the Blaze audience. And if there's anyone who needs red pilling, it's them, most certainly. No, maybe probably Crossing Points USA needs it more, Turning Points, whatever. So that was great. I got to eat at Joe Beef for the birthday, which was great. Oh, by the way, so Tuesday, I don't know how many of you guys watched the episode with Thaddeus Russell, which was, I guess, No, I've been on his show twice. He was on You're Welcome once, so this is the fourth time. I thought it was... thank you, Tyler. I thought it was really interesting. And I want to talk about my interview style, because I don't get into the comments on YouTube. I do delete a few if people are get personal with the guest. I don't need them. I mean, very personal. Like when Janae Marie Kroc was on a few weeks ago, she's transgender and people are being extremely offensive. That there's no time for that shit. And if people want to say obnoxious things about me to a point, that's fine too. But there was a person who was like, "Oh, I was much harder on Thad than on Faith Goldie," which is absolutely true. My rule is, if I'm friends with someone and me and Thad are good buddies, I go ham. Will Chamberlain's another example. Alan Bakari. I've got no problem going ham. If it's someone I don't know, Nomiki Konst is another example. I mean, I'm not close with her. We're acquaintances. She's a hardcore lefty. Lux Alftrum is a hardcore lefty. I'm not going to go ham because I want them to feel safe on my show. That's my rule. That's the criterion I use. But the Thad stuff, because I and Thad, the two episodes, Thad and the first episode on Gas Digital was with me and Stefan Cancella. When someone has when someone who I fundamentally respect has a perspective that I don't know about, but also on viscerally disagree with, I am going to really you see this as an opportunity to expand my knowledge and my, philosophy, and I'm really gonna, ask them as many questions as hard as I can. And Kinsella, the first episode, which if you're a Gas Digital subscriber, it's in the archives. I mean, he was effortless. I asked him all the tough questions. He had all the answers. So he really made a believer out of me. So Thad, who, again, as I say in that episode, whose book I say is one of the top 10 books everyone needs to read, Renegade History, which is just a major influence on my thinking, I really expected him to change my mind on postmodernism, and I did not. I was even more reaffirmed in my dislike and distrust of it. So, and the comments were, I haven't even read them all. They were like off the charts. Like people were just, I mean, let me, just the number of comments. Let me give you guys some metrics here. So the episode prior to that was with, let me see, Melissa Chen. And similar view counts, within 10%. Melissa Chen had 98 comments. That already has 393. So it was really orders of magnitude different. So, by the way, just for those of you who want to know, on Friday, I recorded another episode of Thad's show, which was a lot of fun. It was a lot better than the second time I was on Thad's show. There was no confrontationalism. We talked about that on the air and off the air. So, I think he's great. I adore talking to him. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, so that's where we are with that. I wanted to tell you all so that's the Thad, that's the Lauren. Melissa's not that interesting in this context, although I thought that episode was great. And other news that you might be interested in knowing. On Thursday, so there's a couple things I taped that are coming out soon that are going to be really exciting, and I don't use that term lightly. I taped an episode. Do you really hit up Tinder thoughts like a PUA? I used to. I've been off Tinder in a long time, but that line that I have in the book works. Try it, you'll see. That's a whole online dating is a whole other fucking disaster I'm not gonna get into at this moment. And now you fucking made me lose my train of thought completely. So the other thing, which drives me absolutely crazy, and I've tweeted this out, if you are, what was your favorite part of the Thad interview? I was so adrenaline and in the moment that it's hard to remember, because that's that's the different part of the brain when you're like in that moment, and I haven't watched it. I would say my favorite part. I don't know. I think I did like it. I don't know if I liked it. One of the most interesting parts to me was when Thad was trying to make these claims about how everyone had a consensus about nutrition like 30 years ago. And this is like I was incredulous, because this is like bad stand-up comedians. Like, oh, today they tell us to eat eggs. Tomorrow they'd say eggs are good for you. And it's just like, there's never a dietary consensus, number one. Having a consensus doesn't mean a universal agreement either. Even if there's like 60%, 80%, there's going to be other people. And the other thing is, like, I knew this was an issue he didn't know about, and I felt that distracted him from the point. So I'm like, let's stick to something you actually know the history of, because then this becomes a complete sidebar. One of the things that drives me crazy, like if I'm talking about, let's suppose, Camus, I'm thankful this never happened. And I'm like, oh, when he writes this, it inspires me to think of this. And they're like, well, what he actually meant by that is like, I don't fucking care. I'm like inspired. You know what I mean? Let's talk about the idea rather than what did Camus really mean. So when Thad was like, well, this is what they thought, I'm like, let's talk about the concept, not the literal specifics that are completely incorrect. So yeah, it was that I really really enjoyed. I also like, it's also fun for me sparring with people who I like and respect and who like and respect me back. So that was a lot of fun. Hold on a second. Time for Monster. So I want to tell a story about yeah, the feedback was been very very fun. By the way, I'm so did Lauren Chen's beauty overwhelm you in person? No. She's very beautiful. What is impressive about Lauren is her charisma. So even more than her physical beauty, she really carries herself very well, which is very impressive. And just a smart cookie. Oh, so what I want to tell you guys. So two things I'm very excited about that we recorded. C-SPAN. The new right is getting an hour on C-SPAN. We did an episode. Ben Domenech was the interviewer, which is superb because when I'm in there attacking conservatives, and for NPCs, the NPCs thinking is binary, therefore I'm a lefty if I'm attacking conservatives so it was great. And Ben is really smart, great questions. He had obviously read the book. I don't know when that's going to air in the next few weeks. I did wear the shoes. He didn't notice them. I did get photos of him getting makeup put on. He wouldn't let me post them because he was a sweaty mess. It was one of those super muggy days that it just rained. The other thing is, and this I'm really excited about, I didn't want to be late but had to finish Chernobyl. It's been a while since the show made me feel physically ill. Yeah, dude, that show is a masterpiece, and thank you all for recommending me to watch it. DM Don Jr. next, you're welcome. I already did. Sorry. So that's not happening. So C-SPAN's out. This is the one that is really exciting. Not only am I red pilling the C-SPAN people, I recorded a podcast. I think it's I'm the second guest for the Babylon Bee. And these are, Christian conservatives, legit super funny. That's going to drop, I think, in 8 days. It's going to be a Monday. So that's going to be awesome. And that's really funny because usually on most podcasts, like I go on, I'm the humorous one. And this is a humor podcast, and I was like fucking super serious the whole time. And I was just lobbing bombs. So that was a really fun interview. We went long, which is when you know that a podcast is going well. So look forward to both of those things. It's going to be absolutely great. I had to catch myself when I was cursing during that interview, but we worked out pretty well. What else did I want to say? Again, get Mike Lindell. Okay, I don't know. I have enough people. We've got a lot of guests queued up, so yeah, I'm not. Yeah, okay. Thank you for the suggestion, though. I guess is the best way to. I'm spurging out for no reason. Whew, I've had a long, long day. Oh, so yeah. So today I recorded an episode with Zach Amico. We watched for his late night horror show podcast. We watched Hellraiser, which I realized I never did watch in its entirety, and it was a lot of fun because, as you guys know, I am an aspiring Cenobite. So yeah, that's gonna, I think, drop Friday night at midnight, I believe. It's on Guest Digital. What did you make of the director of Chernobyl was symbolic of Trump? I think if you are... that reminds me of? One of the all-time great novels, Catch-22, by Heller, Joseph Heller. It's an absolute masterpiece. And as an author, I'm in awe of it because it is so structurally complex that as I was reading it, I was like, oh my God, this is on a whole other level. I still am just in awe. And there's a reason it's considered one of the all-time great novels. He wrote a sequel many years later called Closing Time, which I read. I have a signed copy. They're not expensive. And the whole point of Closing Time, the sequel to one of the all-time great American classics, feeling Randian tonight. I am not particularly feeling Randian. No. Sorry, Miguel. The whole plot of Closing Time is it's President Dan Quayle with his finger on the nuclear button. And you're reading it, and you're like, this is such a function of its time. And it's so insta-dated, and it's so embarrassing. And it's so... You're an artist who's creating a timeless classic commentary about war and bureaucracy in the first one. And this is the second one. It's a Dan Quayle joke. Like, it's so pathetic. And it reminds me of the documentary about Hubert Selby, who wrote, again, one of the great, all-time great novels, Last Exit to Brooklyn, which I mentioned in The New Right, the importance of it and how awesome it is. And in the documentary about his life, there's this whole bit about how he was against George W. Bush and the war in Iraq. And it's just like, you are one of the original artists in literature, American literature. It might be the original transgressive writer. And you're talking about having these basic bitch anti-war views, which is fine if you have. But in terms of the context of your life and your accomplishments, that's relevant? That you just had the same ideas as everyone else in this fucking time period? It's pathetic to me. Kumia, Lionel, Alex, McGingus, Rogan. Any chance? I don't know what the question is. What are you asking me? So I don't know what Alex, what is I don't know. So sorry, I don't understand the question. Oh god, we have 450 people here. So I wanted to also tell this this story, something that reminded me of excuse me, college. When I took a semester in DC at American University. It was part of my studies. Any chance they come on the show? Let's go through them. Kumia's been on twice. Alex, no. Gavin, maybe. Rogan, probably not. Lionel, no. Again, I've got 3 in the can, so I'm not booking at the moment. There's actually one big name that I am trying to get a hold of thanks to Lauren. There was someone in my Facebook group that they were pitching very hard, and I'm like, all right, this person's out of reach. And Lauren actually brought up out of nowhere. She's like, hey, would you ever want to get this person on your show? Because they're trying to do, kind of your type of media. I'm like, fuck yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so I'm in, my contempt for academics and the cathedral is so without cessation. And I'm realizing, we all think about, maybe some of you guys do, maybe you don't, think about, okay, what is your first red pill moment? And I remember one very, very, very vividly, which is there was a show on in the 80s, a cartoon called Ghostbusters. It was not the Ghostbusters from the movie. It turns out there was a show, a live action show from the 70s called Ghostbusters, and it was 2 dudes and a gorilla. And they made a cartoon of it to cash in on the movie. And at the same time, they made a cartoon of the movie characters. So you had real Ghostbusters, which was from the movie, and then you had Filmation's Ghostbusters, the 2 guys and a gorilla. And there was one episode, and I'm still triggered by it. And it's the kind of thing, it's funny how you're a kid, you think, okay, maybe I'm a dumb kid, I'm not realizing this. And then you get older and you're like, oh, no, I was right. And it's just amazing how stupid and evil adults can be. So this episode, the Ghostbusters were racing against the bad guys, the ghosts, right? They weren't really ghosts though. They were like robot. It was like robot ghosts. It was very weird. They weren't actually ghosts. And what happens is the ghosts cheat, right? They like fuck up the Ghostbusters engine or something, or they, I don't know, give them AIDS. I don't remember what it was. Okay? They're racing, they're racing, they're racing. The villains get right to the end, then they run out of gas and they stop, and the heroes end up winning. And the lesson we're told as a kid is, if you cheat, you're going to lose. Where the actual lesson is, if you cheat and aren't a complete sloppy fuck up, and do basic things like check the engine and the gas, you will win. And I remember this being such a the term red pill wasn't around them, of course, but the idea of when you're told something verbally that contradicts what your senses and your logic tell you, it's a very eerie feeling. So that was one of my first red pill moments. And then in college, Futura and that Ghostbusters was my first waifu. I was a Shadow Weaver guy myself. I was in college. And again, I was in American University for one semester. I took a business class. I don't remember what the actual nature of the class was. It was some stupid class. And the teacher said, okay, we're going to do a experiment, or like a exercise, rather. And he said, okay, we're going to pair everybody up. One of you in each pair is going to be the purchaser, and one is the seller. Like, one person is buying units of something, carpets, whatever the fuck, from the other person. And each of us was individually given data, like how much I have money to spend, how much I can sell it for, and, you know, so each of us has information the other doesn't know, Shadows of War kind of thing, or whatever in this context. So what happened was, many people just basically just told the truth to each other. They go, okay, I can spend 500, and they're like, okay, it costs me, I could sell for 500. There are people like, okay, it costs me 200 to produce. Let's say 350. Great, shake, done. What I did, can I pay you to read The Irrational Atheist by Vox Day? No, you don't have to pay me, but I don't think I'm going to read it in the near future. Would love to see you talk to Bishop Robert Barron. Who is this? Oh, God, he seems horrible. Just from the picture. Let me look at his Twitter. Oh, okay, he's not horrible. Well, he's got a big following, and he seems like he might be out of my reach. Huh. Tweet at him, sure. So we're in that class, and so some people are like, okay, 500, 200, let's split the difference. And I said, okay, I remember I was the buyer. I said, okay, I can sell it for 300. And they said, oh, it cost me 200 to produce. I go, let's split the difference at 250. So I made $100 more in profit than the other people. And other people did what I did as well. What is the lesson? What is the lesson is, if you lie to the person you're trading with, you're going to maximize profit in this scenario. That was what the data said. And we went around the room, and other people had lied, and they got more profit. And the teacher goes, oh, well, this is just an experiment, and if you lie to people, you're going to hurt your long-term relationships, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, you have us do an experiment. It has a result that isn't what you like, so you dismiss it. You're a fucking asshole. And you're telling us to ignore the data that you yourself caused to be produced. You are a fucking asshole. And you're just telling us what you want to say regardless of what the data actually happened. This is why you're an academic and garbage. Getting my friend one of the mini museums you gave to Rogan. What a great idea for a gift. Thanks. Aren't they the best? Oh my God, those mini museums are the best. Oh wow, yeah. And those are two such red pill moments. I was like, holy shit, you are shameless. You're just absolutely shameless. Whew. I would love to see you do a stream with a distributist critiquing progressivism. He has a small NRX channel, but great. It is not going to happen. Um, so I don't do streams with other people. It's not fun for me. The only one, the academic agent I did, I made him turn off the stream and record it just as an interview. So that was that. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, the other big news. Guys, who was at um who was at Freedom Fest? Did you guys see the pilot that me and Tom Woods did, the cartoon? That was the stuff. We've been keeping our mouths shut about this for quite a long time. I hope you guys saw it. If you haven't, I don't know where to point you to. Is it on my Facebook? Yeah, it's on my Facebook. Yeah. So Tom Woods and I are doing. They licensed the politically incorrect guidebooks. Tom wrote the first one, and it was a huge bestseller for him. And we animated a pilot. The first episode is the politically incorrect guide to the Constitution. So yeah, and if you look at the picture, it's on my Facebook. I am wearing my little anarchist flag lapel pin. So yeah, it was this is gonna be awesome. So that is something to look forward to, people. Let me see what else. Do I have any other news? Just gonna check something quick. By the way, like, I've told a lot of people about this whole spite funding masterstroke, and I mean, they're just peeing their pants. I mean, do you think Norm's autobiography will be recognized as one of the great novels of our time? I do not, but it's excellent. It is absolutely excellent. What was I gonna say? I feel like a lot of these live streams are like, what was I gonna say? Because I'm an old man, and I'm always wiped when I do these because I'm usually after the gym or something like that. Yeah, so it's I hope it gets picked up. I think we have to have a call this week to do what other subjects we're gonna cover. Yeah, tomorrow we have a call. So you should get on Vladimir Yaffe. May not know who he is. Let me look him up. Former Soviet. He's only got 300 Twitter followers. Let me look up how many YouTube subscribers he has.
Tyler.
Oh, he's got a lot of YouTube subscribers. Okay, that's not a bad idea then. Just saw you towering over the Bagel Boss guy. I'm not God and I'm not his dad. So who's texting me? Jesus Christ, I feel so plugged in. No, there is no Jackie, that's not the case. What's your favorite type of otter? Well, I mean, it's a fitness term. It's a whole thing on 4chan's Fitboard, otter mode. Whew. I'm gonna bounce in 20. Oh, excuse me. Hold on a second. Ooh. I'm allergic. Okay, think Ali Stuckey would come on the podcast. Very mainstream conservative. She made that joke interview with AOC. I know who she is. So she was actually the first guest on Babylon B's podcast. I'm the second guest. I would have her on. I don't think she lives in New York. Yeah. I don't know if she'd come on. She's got a pretty big following, right? So she seems probably. I'm sure she'd be probably pretty picky. Good lord. What's your favorite type of utter? Chaos. Utter chaos. That's easy. All right, the monster is done. Whew. What else did I want to tell you guys about? I still haven't thought through what the next book is going to be. But it's going to be good. I got a ball python recently, pastel. Okay. Good. Okay, I was about to yell at you, and then you said it was a pastel, so I'm allowing it. And I was going to name it Malice, but my wife wouldn't let me. Listen, the last time a guy listened to a woman about a snake, we got kicked out of paradise. So just put an apple in her mouth and name the snake whatever you want. Just wanted to say I love the Thad interview. It was refreshing to see you in autistic takedown mode. That is my default setting. What's your favorite Looney Tunes character? It's got to be Marvin the Martian. Gossamer is going to be second. Whew. By the way, I have CDs, 4 CDs of the audiobook for New Right, and I don't know what to do with them. So I might be selling them or something. I don't know. I don't need 4 of them, that's for sure. I got a FedEx from my agent, and I was all scared. But it was the CDs. Who the hell buys them? It's just, how much I don't even want to look up how much they would cost. It's just like, who's buying this shit? Sweet. 1 second, I have to reply about shaving soaps. Great. What is your PayPal? Done. What else did I want to talk about? What else do I want to talk about? Title doesn't do justice to book at all. He's not attempting to convert the reader, says agnostics are great. Target of book is humanist globalism. I read, as you know, probably, I read Social Justice Warriors Always Lie. I quote him extensively in The New Right. He's the one who came up with the term midwit, which is one of the A1 most important concepts of our time, in my opinion. It's just, I've got lots of other stuff on. I've got literally 30 books on my shelf right now. And thanks to this spite funding, I'm about to get the Alexander Berkman one as well. So, yeah. You know what? I'll add it to the list. How about that? You don't have to pay me. I will read it. I will add it to the list. I'll add it right now. Because I did think Social Justice Warriors Always Lie was a very good book. It had a lot to offer for it. Whew. Let me just see what it's called again. Irrational Atheist. Let me look it up. Let's see what the Oh, I'm not reading this. I don't care about Dawkins, Harris, and Hitchens. No. That you just that's getting deleted from the list. Done. Okay, back. We are back. I got a question for you guys. If you were doing episodes of a show, The Politically Incorrect Guide to, what would you want episodes about? Politically Correct Guide to blank. Fill in the blank. Drugs. Ooh. That's right up Tom Wood's alley. No, I'm kidding, of course. The Catholic Church. Gender. Labor. Okay, these are some good ones. Universities. That's a great one. What happened to the 10th Amendment? I don't know. Fashion. I pitched that one. Democracy. That's a good one. Coffee. I don't get it. Civil War, third parties. Okay. Constitution is the first one. Guns. That's a great idea, Greg, but I don't think either Tom or I know anything about it. Okay, these are some great answers. Oh, the police. Oh my God, can you imagine? Okay, these are some really great ideas. These are some really, really great ideas. Did any of you, by the way, watch the debate between Stephen Hicks and Thad Russell at the um, Soho Forum? And if so, what did you think? Love the podcast with Thad Russell. Yeah, we're going to have a follow up. It's already in the can. Hmm. So, do all the? This is a stupid question. I could obviously goggle for myself, but are all the Soho forum debates uploaded at some point, and you can just watch them at your leisure? You should have one just in the social contract. That's not a bad idea at all. There's not going to be guests on the politically incorrect show. Takes a while, okay. Oh, what I was saying? Because I hated my teachers lying, I would love to see your next book destroy the progressive cathedral universities. I can't think of a more corrupt institution. Well, dog, you're barking up the right tree. How long are these episodes? They're going to be 15 minutes, I think. It's going to be 3 segments to each episode. So maybe it's 20 minutes. I don't remember. Will the title of the show be politically correct? No, it'll the politically incorrect. It's called Politically Incorrect Guide. Pig. Whew. Have you read The Subject in Power? I have not. I've never even heard of it. Let me look it up. Oh, Michel Foucault. No, thank you. Blurb doesn't do justice either. The book is a massive tome of history, logic, and philosophy. Dawkins et al. Are only used to extricate common atheist arguments. Social justice warriors always lie is dog shit in comparison. Okay. Will it be pro shot / produced? Get Adam Kokesh for your welcome. That's not going to happen. Yeah, it's animated. The politically correct show is animated. We have the first episode. I actually I try not to have any libertarian activists on the show. I feel that's much more Tom's show. And like they wanted me to have Larry Sharp. I have just like no interest whatsoever in having him on. And because might be obvious, but do one in the corporate press. Oh yeah, way ahead of you. Thank you, Scott. But yeah. The thing is, I feel if I'm gonna have someone who's an anarchist. Did you put any spelling errors in the new write? No, but I'm sure they're there. If I have any, like, I don't like going after. I'm a big tent guy. I don't like going after fellow anarchists. So, but if they're on my show, I don't want it to be like kumbaya. So then it puts me in a weird position. I was pretty aggressive with Veet, the president of Lieberland. That was a fun episode because he was giving me a little bit of double talk at first, so I kind of pushed back a bit. But yeah, with Adam, I mean, I'm buddies with Derek J, and there was drama between them, so I'd have to ask him about that. And I don't want him. I like ambushing people. I think that's shitty. All right. All right. Oof, I'm tired. What else? What else did I want to cover? Looking for. Oh, so it's also really good because usually, you're welcomed on Tuesdays, and then I have night shade at night, so Tuesdays are annoying as hell for me. But now the next 3 days, 3 weeks, I get to have my days to myself, so it's going to be very, very um, relaxing and normal. Um, yeah, good. I mean, we these are good. The Charlie Nash one episode next week. That one was weird. That one was a weird one. Get John McAfee on the show. Wear bulletproof vest. I mean, isn't he not allowed in America? I guess I could Skype him. I'm trying not to Skype. I hate doing that. Who was the last Skype guest we had? It's been a while. I don't like those Skype episodes. Um, by the way, just how insane is it that like I'm at a point on um, Twitter where I have followings that are bigger or more comparable to some major political figures. This is I talk about this a lot recently, but this is crazy, and it's going to be a lot of fun to fuck with them in the most nasty ways possible, um, in the coming weeks and months. So yeah, I mean, I just when that idiot from Terry McAuliffe from Virginia, former governor, major Clinton person, he was talking shit. I'm like, wait a minute, he's only got like 2,000 more followers than me. So, I was like, all right, I'm following this fucker and I'm gonna ruin his day on Twitter. Uh, I've been mean on Twitter recently with some of these people. I mean, my level of tolerance to their BS is decreasing rapidly. Um, so yeah. All right, we got 5 more minutes of this. Then I'm gonna bounce, take a shower and a shave, and get ready for do some reading. I'm reading Bret Easton Ellis's book White, and I'm reading a biography of Kerouac right now. Neither of which are terrible. Neither of which are awesome. Um, yeah, I think it's. What did you guys think of the get Glenn Lowry? That's not gonna. I don't think he would do it. Katie Herzog. Why does that name sound familiar? I think Katie Herzog She follows me. I don't know who she is though. You don't mean Glenn Lowry from The Week, do you? Oh no, he. Oh, this guy. I don't know who. Oh, interesting. Oh, he doesn't have. Oh, interesting. Okay. Huh. Okay, those aren't bad ideas. She does follow me, and she had a great joke. I retweeted Katie because she made a joke about how she was arguing with someone, and she goes, "No, no, you misunderstand me. I have sex with my children." And she's like, "If I get canceled for this, or if I get banned from Twitter for this, it's been worth it." I'm like, "Okay, that is a great, great, great joke." Um, I was very impressed when people go dark like that, and they don't know what to do with it. Oh my god! Blah, blah. She's like, I'm not saying I have sex with other people's children. I have sex with my own children. It was amazing. It's a crime you don't have 100,000 followers on Twitter. I don't even have an account, and I Google search to see your tweets. You don't have to Google search. If you just go to twitter.com/Michael Malice, you'll see them all. Yeah. All right. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about? Not really. If any of you are thinking about uh, going to Canada, I strongly recommend it. It is so fun. It is so fun. I had such a good time. It's also good making sure you go with a good crew. Um, yeah, okay. I'm going to bounce in a minute, unless anyone has anything else. I just watched the Mr. Rogers documentary, which I didn't really like. And it was really weird because, like, the first episode, the first week of the show, it was like thoughts on hoax, hate, crime. I think this is just more of the same at this point. Um, it was just weird because, like, the first week, Mr. Rogers was on the air, like, King Friday the 13th, basically as a military coup. It was weird. So yeah, uh, but I have a couple of clips from the documentary to have do as intros for Nightshade, so that's going to be a lot of fun. What? There's nothing on that I'm really watching right now. I listened to Mike Cernovich's advice and I downloaded the documentary about Ronnie Coleman, the former Mr. Olympia. So hopefully that's going to be good. Um, but yeah, I didn't realize that Lady Aberlane, whatever her name is, the one human being in the land of make believe, she was super Jewish. She didn't look Jewish to me growing up. So I learned that literally today. All right, I am bouncing. I will see you I guys, the episode with Bridget Fetisi was so good this Tuesday. I'm really really proud of it. Were you able to meet with God Saad? I was not, but we sent him the book so that he could do a Skype interview with me after he's read it. Politically Incorrect Guide to Civil War, the U.S. Civil War. I hear you, but given Tom's, I don't know. This is something we'd have to talk about because that's such a, you know what I mean? Uh, yeah. But I think we're gonna do something along that vein. Okay, I will bounce. I will. It's just weird because we're doing this, with through an organization, so it has to be politically correct within parameters. Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? It's the whole situation. Um, yeah, I will. 500 of you. Wow. I will see you all soon. I will see you in on tomorrow on Nightshade. I think it's free on Mondays. I don't even know. Oh, and by the way, that episode of Two Drink Minimum that I was on with Mike Ward and Pantelis, that was a lot of fun. And that's on YouTube. So definitely check that out if you want. I mean, those guys are hilarious, and it was a real good hang that I really enjoyed. Thank you all for the support. That spite funding thing, man. I'm like halfway through this book I don't even want in terms of money raised, but that's just how it works. I will talk to you soon. Yeah, be well, guys.